HorrorDeconstruction.
What's up, everybody? It's the HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube is where you're going to most likely find us. So give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon, hit that share icon. Let people know about the show with your host comp for this solo deconstruction. Today's film is La Llorona, 2019. An aging paranoid war criminal protected by his faithful wife faces death while being haunted by the ghosts of his past. Directed by Jairo Bustamante, written by Jairo Bustamante and Lisandro Sanchez, starring Maria Mercedes Coroy, Sabrina de la Hoz, and Margarita Kenefli. So, why did I pick La Llorona? I've heard so many good things about this movie. Obviously, it's a cultural sort of smash. There's been lots of La Llorona horror movies. I think probably the most famous one would probably be the one that has to deal with I think it's the Paranormal Activity franchise. I think they did one with that. If you don't know what the story of La Llorona is, the famous Spanish folk tale, or I guess scary tale, about this woman. It's different, but the one that's probably the most famous one is this woman who has 2 children, and she finds out that her husband was cheating on her. So she took her 2 children with her, and she decided to drown her children, then herself. And then she comes back, if you hear this woman crying in the distance, you see she's out to either steal your children or she's out to get you or something like that, because she's crying because she realized after what she has done that she's crying over the deaths of her kids. So that's just a basic folklore storyline around that thing, and it's obviously it's a very famous cultural thing, and they try to make it into Hollywood films, but it doesn't seem to make any money or seems to hit with people. You would think it would. It's an interesting premise, hopefully not a real one, of not just like a ghost, but I'm just saying like a woman actually doing that, although it has happened. It doesn't seem to connect with Western audiences as in film wise, so this one was an actual Latino film that did it, and I don't think it worked, but that's just me. People love this movie. Well, as far as I've heard, they really like it, but I don't know if people like it because of a cultural thing, like it's actually seeing a horror film from another, country, and which I'm totally for. I'm always for that. I love like Spanish horror films. They're really well done. Asian horror films, stuff like that. This, I think this would have been a better drama, which it is a better drama than it is a horror film. If you're selling this as a horror film, I don't think it works because I don't know how spoilerific I can get with this, but just the premise alone of the film with this piece of shit war criminal dude, he is this older guy. Obviously, this is from a country that is changing its guard, I assume, and this guy he's rich. He made money off of slaughtering people, ethnic cleansing and stuff like that, and he is living high on the hog, and rightfully so. All the people that know what he's done, because he's no longer in charge of essentially killing the shit out of them, they protest his, where he lives every day. And that part is really interesting. That's like when I was watching this, because the film is gorgeous, the movie looks beautiful, the movie looks like a film. It's not just cheap bullshit horror films. A lot of them are just cheap and you only get one location, whatever. This is a lot. There's a lot going on visually with this film, which is what drives me nuts, because it doesn't match the aesthetic of the horror stuff. It's all right that it's not all in dark corridors and shit like that, but the movie looks great. And I'm like, why just the art direction in the film itself, as in, it's not artsy crazy, visually insane, but there's a lot going on image-wise, and the way it's shot, the amount of people, because there's crowds shot of just hundreds of people protesting where this guy's living. The house that they live in is really gorgeous. The family has this very rich, better than you heir to them. The main character is sort of the patriarch, who's this dude who starts losing his mind because he was a war criminal. Like I said, charging his men to kill all these poor individuals that live and aren't, I guess, part of the bigger society. They sort of the poorer, not poor, but the people that sort of live by themselves and have their own culture that is essentially being wiped out because they're not paying the taxes of the rich and shit like that, so they're being wiped out so they can just get the land taken from. So it's like that sort of thing. Essentially, it's like, you know, what happened to Native Americans and stuff like that. And there's a really, really fantastic scene where they bring these women up, these tribal women who were, you know, raped and murdered, almost put out of existence because of this guy's military, and they're you know, sitting before an audience and a judge, and they're testifying to what happened to them. And it's like, I was watching that going, man, this is a good fucking movie. Like, this part right here, I'd rather watch this. You know what I mean? You don't have to put all this bullshit ghost stuff, because the director just didn't do it right. Like, the ghost stuff didn't work, because then we're introduced later on to the actress who is the LLARONA in the film itself, and she just seems like, I mean, everybody sees who this woman is. Like, she's not like some sort of phantom that did, you know, only one person can see her. She's like an actual character in the film. She doesn't speak much, but she does, like, I think it's Maria Mercedes Coroy as her. She has a really cool look to her. Honestly, I wouldn't have hired her ass, but his people leave because they get scared. You know, they actually believe that Yarona's around. And this young girl comes in, and she's a very pretty young woman, but she's like, she's fucking spooky. Like, she has these big eyes and stuff like that. And which you know, a lot of people say which attracts people to take care of this type of person if they have bigger eyes. But she's just silent all the time, and she just looks fucking. There's something off about her. And I'd be like, nah, you can march your ass out of here, get the fuck out of here. You ain't working in my house. But you know, I guess they're desperate to have somebody help them wipe their ass, these rich fucks. And she's around, and she's always playing with the daughter of the family, the granddaughter. Because there's this woman who is a doctor. I don't know if she's a doctor or a therapist, I forget, but she's sort of the main character in the film, and she's the daughter of the patriarch, war criminal dickhead, and she, you know, her husband vanished, so you know the father had something to do with that. And she's always like, she's iffy on her relationship with her dad because she's afraid to speak out against him. So she's an interesting character, but this, you know, once it starts getting into the weird, like, ghost shit, like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's just like, who cares? Like, there's a nightmare scene where he's walking around downstairs in the house, and he sees her in the darkness, like, outside in the pool and shit like that. And it's just like, all right, whatever. Just show me more drama about the fucking. I'd rather see the drama stuff. The ghost stuff here is so sort of lazy. Like, for some reason, when it goes to the ghost stuff, it looks cheap. Like, there's a part where the old man has an obvious boner because he sees her, like, completely wet in her shirt, and, like, everybody's like really shocked that he has this giant boner. He's like, he should be proud that he can get a boner at his age after having all this stress on him. So yeah, it's all these interpersonal family dealings and stuff like that. The film is more drama than it is sort of scary. I think the scary shit just did not work, because it's not an outright, like, scare you. It seems to be more of an art house type of scary movie. But just any of that ghost stuff just didn't work because it just felt out of context. Because everything else is so realistic. When they try to do the ghost shit, which sort of has like a dreamlike effect, it doesn't work. And that's very weird for that not to work in this type of film. So it was disappointing for me as a film as a whole, but the acting is top notch. The cinematography is gorgeous. It's a beautiful looking film. The drama stuff should have been by itself. I would rather seen a movie just about this guy losing his mind, and which I guess this is what this is. But they're literally saying it's La Llorona, like that. There is a supernatural aspect to the film, and for me, it just didn't work. It was not cohesive within the storyline, but it's still a gorgeous film to watch. So I would give this movie a 5 out of 10, confronting a woman who you think is a ghost, but then everybody confronting you for having a massive old man boner in your pants. And with that, this has been the Horror Deconstruction.